Hey everyone, I got something special to share with you that I've been working on for a little while, and that is 25 more layouts, t-shirt layouts that I put together using examples from TeePublic. I did this video a while ago using examples from Amazon, and took me a little while for TeePublic because either they didn't have any text, they were just graphics, or they used graphics but they were already using the layouts that I did for the first 25. So those work on TeePublic. So these are new, different layouts. I was trying to look for something a little more simple as well so that you can follow along. These layouts can really help you if you're creating your t-shirts on your own with Kiddo or with Creative Fabrica on Affinity Designer, or if you're creating prompts for these, you can actually tell them to arch the text above and put 2 lines below and all those kinds of things in the prompt. So that can help you as well. So I'm going to show you what these are. I'm going to go over them one by one, these new 25, and then I'm going to show you where to get these. They're just on my site, but I'll show you where they are. Gonna have to scroll down, and where the other 25 are. They're absolutely free. So let's go into my Affinity Designer file and I'll show you all the 25 and kind of walk you through them. All right, so here we are on my Affinity Designer file. You can see I have the first 25, if I zoom in, the 25 basic layouts. And then I did layouts 26 to 50. So I have it all on one, or I kind of split it up too. If you wanted to print these out, you can as well. So I'll have all of these 3 on my downloads page that you can have. And what these are just the posts that I did. So I have single posts, and then I have double posts, and then Instagram changed their size, so I had to make it a different size for that post. So anyway, let me go through all of these here, and well, let's go through the big one. They're the same thing. If you haven't seen these before, I have the guide here, what each thing means. So this black thing is just basically a block of text. So you can put whatever words you want in here. But that's that. And then the graphic kind of fits in. It doesn't have to be in a box, but I'm just saying that it's in this space. Sometimes it does belong in a shape, and I'll show you when it's not in a box. I kind of put the shape in there, kind of dual purpose, but it doesn't have to be in a box. It can be if you want. And then this is the layout space. So in your 4500 by 5400, it should fit that area. Okay, more or less. I mean, you got wiggle room on here. So let's go through each of these, and I found these on TeePublic, like I said. So really cool artwork. Again, this is for a disclaimer. This I'll have it in the paper here too. These are just examples of the layouts. I'm not saying to copy these. I'm not saying to use these words. Don't use their graphics, obviously. If you copy these are copyrighted by default. Anything that you see online that has a design, once it's online, it's copyrighted. And so if you copy this, you could get your account taken down, you can get sued by them, and all those bad things. So that's not what this is for. I just put this here because before, when I just had the lines and the shapes, people were like, well, I don't understand. So they couldn't make the visual connection. And so I wanted this as a visual connection to show you, see, this person actually used this layout, and so on. So 26 is pretty simple. Basically a design right here, artwork, and you'll notice that the artwork kind of has a tall point, and that's what you want to do when you have this arch here. So this one, in this case, the tall point isn't in the middle, it's kind of to here, but it still works. You see that they're filling in the space with some stars to kind of fill that space. And then you have this arc text here, and the second, so there's 2, one little, one big, and you can do this in Canva, Kiddo, Affinity Designer, almost any graphic app can help you do this either on a path or just bend it, right? I know Canva does it pretty easy, and so does Kiddo. And Affinity Designer kind of has a warp thing where you can do this too. But you could also type this on a path, and that would also work. Okay, so that's layout 26. Layout 27 is pretty similar. Again, with another cat. Cats do really well on TeePublic. So if you have a cat doing something, think of a word and put it in an art text here. You can see the high point is in the middle on this one. And you can see they're different fonts. So like this one is using a thicker sans serif font. This one's using a thinner one. It's probably longer, so they chose to do that because this is a longer sentence than that if you count the letters. And so to help with that, they use the skinny font there. Layout 28 is something that we see a lot with the vintage illustrations. You can see this one here just has a nice vintage illustration. Kind of a tall point, but not as high as these, right? So it's not arching or arcing as much, but you can see that's what this is showing. Kind of an arc in this area. You see, we're not using this rectangle. It's just showing the artwork is in this area, this middle area, and then there's another line of text on the bottom. So this is good to use for longer phrases. So there are some t-shirts with a lot longer phrases than just 2 lines, and you may need to do 3 lines. So there you go. And you can see the main text, in this case Smart Fella, is bigger and on the top. So if you can do that, I would say make the main thing a lot bigger. He could have done you're either a smart fella or a, and then fart smeller really big too. I think that would have been all right. All right, 29 right here. Now again, ignore this. This is Lilo and Stitch, or Stitch and his girlfriend. I can't remember what the name was, but of course, don't copy that graphic. You shouldn't be copying this anyway. Just showing for layouts. The layout, the bigger graphic right here, and we kind of have an arc one, but then this is straight. This forever is straight. So you can see that that can be used as well. So not just 1, but 2, but the second one is a little smaller underneath the bigger arched text. Next one here, 30. This one is in a circle, but what I like about this is the graphic is breaking out of the circle, which is really cool. The arm here and this right here is breaking out of the circle to give it interest. And then we have 2 lines of text right here, which is really nice. So this is a cool vintage design and does really well on TeePublic. So again, think of something, put your graphic, a different graphic in here, and think of 2 words, and I think that could look really cool. This one's kind of the Jurassic Park version, you notice. It's in the circle, and then you have text here, also right here, but in a block. So this one is kind of in a black rectangle here. And it's not using the exact Jurassic Park font, but it obviously has the feel of Jurassic Park with that yellow outline and red and everything. So of course the T-Rex, but in this case, the thing that you see when there's no internet. So this could be used for anything. It could be a dinosaur, it could be a corgi, it could be any animal I think would work well in here. I think this could even work for Cinco de Mayo. Like if you had a dog here with, again, breaking the circle with a sombrero here, eating a taco or something, and have something like Cinco de Mayo or some funny thing that would fit in here. You only have so many letters that will fit in here until it starts feeling squished. So think of a phrase that has, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 or 10 letters altogether. I know Jurassic Park is even longer than that, but I think having the words bigger than having it squish is a big win on this one. So have fun with that one. This one is also in a circle. This, you might have noticed, is copyrighted Blueberry Cereal. Don't copy this. Again, I don't know why this person could do it, but what we're showing is this is kind of arched here. Big one arch, but it's kind of touching the circle. You notice that it's not above the circle, it's touching the circle in this example. This is another circle. I found a lot of circle designs, so I'm going to show you those. This one's a circle as well, but you notice the text is going at an angle. So this is an angle. It doesn't have that rectangle like the Jurassic Park one, but it's still really cool. We have the graphic kind of breaking the circle a little bit, and then the text right here. This can be used for some really cool stuff, I think, for sports where things are kind of in the air, maybe a skier jumping, or someone skydiving or something like that. That could be really cool, or birds, or anything really could work in this space. So this is a cool one. It doesn't have to just be helicopters. This one I saw a lot, and it's where we're breaking up the images. So the images are smaller images with text in the middle. So if you're thinking of 4 different things, or have 4 examples of something, maybe 4 different sandwiches, 4 different whatever, insects or something like that, you could do that. Usually they're funny things under here. I think that was what helps. And you notice potatoes is spelled in a funny way as well. So text up here, and then 4 graphics with funny text underneath. I think this can work if you have an idea that's funny. And relates to having 4 different things. So this is kind of a more of a niche or topic. It doesn't work with everything, but if you do have 4 graphics that make a funny t-shirt, then this is the way to go. This one right here, I took it up a notch, and this is 9. So this one has kind of 9 different cats, each with a different saying underneath. I don't know what it says. You can go look at this one in TeePublic, but you could do this with cats, you could do this with flowers, you could do this with whatever that you have 9 of. I think could be really fun. So the thing I like about this is not a lot of people do this, and if you do it right, I think it can be really funny and can get a lot of people to buy it, because if you have a topic that people like, in this case, I think this is a parody of a game, so you get all that audience that want to get something like this. And of course, cats are huge on TeePublic and t-shirts, so they're kind of mashing the 2 cats in this game here, so that could be really fun. Here's another one that's really simple, and we're doing the round rectangle shape instead of the circle shape. Again, breaking out of the round rectangle, and then just a text. And then here's another one, round rectangle shape, but the text above. So you can use either of these, and this one's not really breaking out of it, but I think that kind of helps when you break out of this. Is kind of gives it some interest. It's kind of framing, but not framing all of it. It's really cool. So you can put either your text above, your text below. I kind of like having a bigger text, like science right here, but you can see this one's having a smaller text where it's eat your greens, but it's usually something, either the graphic is funny, the text doesn't have to actually be funny. In this case, science alone isn't funny, but the graphic right here is funny because he's using science to blow up things. So that's what makes it funny. So eat your greens by itself is kind of funny, but then you can see what happens if he doesn't eat his greens. Well, actually, he's eating his greens, but they're dressed in green. So that's the funny part right there. So this layout 38 is 2 things talking to each other. So I should have put like talk bubbles here, because that's what they are. So if you have 2 different things, you see this a lot on Easter with the Easter bunny talking to each other, one without ears and one without a butt or something. But you can see this is kind of where you're doing it. So you put 2 designs next to each other with the talk bubbles. Here's layout 39, inside the circle, kind of breaking out of the circle in here, and then really small type above here. So the graphic is the thing that stands out, but if you have text that supports it, that would be really cool to just put it right here. So it doesn't have to be so big. The graphic is kind of the thing. Here, this is an interesting shape. So this shape is kind of an oval, but flat on the bottom. And the reason for that is if you have a rounded top here, then this text can go around it. And then the flat bottom makes it nice for the text on the bottom. And we have 2, a bigger one and a smaller one here. So this is a nice one. It really depends on your graphic on what your shape of your text could be. So if you have a graphic that fits this kind of thing, or if you have a round graphic with kind of a ribbon on the bottom, that could help as well. So I think this really depends on the graphic that you have. I mean, this could also work with some of the graphics we saw before with the arch text, and then maybe put some stars. Like this one right here could work with it. Where is it? This one. We could have put the text all the way around here and then put some text on the bottom, right? So that would have worked on that too. It doesn't have to be a specifically round thing. It just has to kind of have a higher top and some text on the bottom. Okay, 41. Now I'm breaking out with some of the angled text. So this one has demons at an angle here, and then arched, and then straight, and then angle. So you have like 3 different ways you're doing your text. And I think this can really be cool because all of those things make it stand out, because you have the text here and the arch, and then the graphic has to be something that supports it as well. You see, it's not in a rectangle in this case, but it's taking up that space right here. And the text can be above or behind. This one's kind of breaking. So a lot of those things, you'll notice that the artwork's kind of either breaking out of a frame or breaking over text, just to give it some interest, to make it more interesting here. Layout 42, this one is actually in kind of an arc shape. So you can see there's rounded at the top and flat on the bottom, like we said here, rounded at the top and flat on the bottom. So this one could have had text that goes all the way across and then text below, but in this case, we're just doing the arch at the arc part of this. And look again, the text or the graphic is breaking out of the frame. Isn't that cool? All right, here's another one where the graphic's breaking out of the frame, and like I said, you could have a text on the bottom, and that's what this one's doing. We have the arc on here following this shape, and this text is also following the shape of that straight line, so that works perfectly kind of fitting around the graphic. So depending on your graphic, again, that's how you're gonna lay out your text. So if you have a graphic here, and notice the nice thing about having this frame is it kind of frames the text. So you can put your graphic in here. Without this frame, it still could work, but it's kind of nice to have that line because your eye just draws to this line here and to the, it kind of makes it feel all right to have the text do the same thing with the line. It's kind of almost like a border kind of thing on here. So keep that in mind. Keep this shape around. You can see this one's a little taller than this one, but it's still a really good shape to have when you're creating t-shirts. Just kind of stands out. Layout 44, this is great for vintage sunsets. A lot of times we do the vintage sunset and do the arc around it because of that shape, but in this case, it's really vintage. You have like straight, not straight, but diagonal text and then straight on the bottom here. So the text is kind of overlapping the vintage sunset. You have your graphic inside the vintage sunset, and then because of this straight edge, we can put this underneath or right on top. In this case, this one's kind of putting it on top with a shadow so that it fits. Here's another one where the graphic is bigger, and instead of just putting it straight, they put it at an angle. And notice right here, it kind of fits, right? Got that little space to put the and then bodacious period at an angle. So this is really, really cool idea. Instead of, they could have just put straight text, but they opted to make it more at an angle to make it different, make it a thing. So, and I think it works on this one because if you follow the eyes from here to here, it's kind of at an angle. So these dinosaurs are kind of at an angle too, so it just works out. Layout 46 here, this is a good one for if you have teams or groups or things like this. This is a made up group, Starfleet Academy, probably from Star Trek or something like that. And then you could also do this with like a fake team. Don't copy sports teams, but you could make up a sports team or something, a high school sports team or college sports team, and kind of put the name here and where it's from and all this, and then put EST and the date right here, and then figure out some kind of emblem or maybe even a shield or something like that goes in the middle. It doesn't have to be a circle, but in this case you can see it's a little more circular. That it's not a straight circle, but it's circular. Oh, well, I guess the circle's in the middle with on the side. This one also is kind of almost like a circle here, kind of like a badge. But in this case, this layout 47, you have the text around it, kind of just really mimicking a circle here. And at the two edges right here has the date. Either you could put 19 whatever here, or you could put EST with the date here. I think both would work. Or just words, if you have two words that like super cool, or usually want something that's the same size. And that's why the date works well, because you got 2 digits here and 2 digits here. They're kind of making it the same width. So layout 48, again, we have the two designs, and in this case it's almost like before and after, or just some little difference, and then the text. In this case, morning where there's coffee, and afternoon there's a beer. So morning and afternoon, you can do before and after, or this and that, or whatever, and then separated with this line here. You can see a hard line. I think that can make a really cool one, especially if you're looking for like graphics. Sometimes there's graphics in the same style on Creative Fabrica or Kiddo, and then you can do kind of a this and that before and after. Just come up with some catchy thing on the top that makes sense and makes it funny. In this case, they're actually the same graphic, but different text. So Ode Me, New Me, it looks like the same angry cat. So that makes it so funny. And I think what makes this funny is me. Ode me, me, anything. Ode and new, but me and me, which is funny. So that's 49. And the last one here, If you have another one, a graphic that has a high center, you can go all the way around. So that's what this is, going all the way around from the top, and kind of not necessarily a nice arc. It's kind of a more tall arc rainbow kind of thing. So you're gonna have to have a lot more words for this one, but you can see it's really cool. I think this is in the back of the t-shirt, one of the only ones that I have on here on the back of the t-shirt, but you could do this on the front as well. So this is saying, these examples are just for layout purposes. Do not copy the words and the graphics. Find different graphics and change the words to fit. So hopefully these are really helpful for you. Let me show you where you can find this and the other one, so you can have 50 different layouts if you didn't get the other one already. We'll go to my website and the downloads page. All right, so here's my site, Detour Shirts, detourshirts.com. I changed it a little bit. I took away the pictures just so it works better on mobile. I think I'm trying to clean it up and move things around and put more designs, spend more time on this when you see my logo here, but I'm going to try and add more designs here. Look for those in the future. So come here to downloads right there, and you're going to see all my downloads. Some of them are things that you can buy, but a lot of this is free. Like from this point down is all free. So if you scroll all the way down here, 25 basic layouts. This is the first one that I did, that video that I made. These were all examples from Amazon. If I go back to this one, this is the one we just looked at, 25, so 26 through 37, and the second page is 28 through 50, 38 through 50. So you can see, totally free. You can download this. It's a PNG. You can print it out. You can have it on your desktop, whatever you want. But my goal for this is to help you see what kinds of designs that work on t-shirt, well, how the layout is on a t-shirt, because I think a lot of new people that try and do print on demand and design t-shirts and never actually design a t-shirt before, it's really hard to know, like from a blank page, like where should I put the graphic and where should I put the text and how do I lay out the text and all of this stuff. These will really help you and have you have examples to look at. So I think that's really important to see, like, oh, I have this graphic now, what do I do with the text? And you can look through all of these and say, oh yeah, I could use this layout, or I could use this layout. Oh, my text is really long. Where's a layout that I can use with lots of text? So you can look for that. And where's layouts with very short text? You can look for that. So that's my hope, is that you can use these two, this basic one and the now up to 50. So you have 50 examples of what good t-shirt designs look like and what sells. Like, these are top sellers on both Amazon on the first one and TeePublic on the second one. And like I said, when I went to TeePublic, they were already using some of the, I couldn't use some of these first 25. There were a lot of them that were just using the first 25. So I had to find even more and different ones. So hopefully that's really helpful for you and real easy for you to find. I'll put a link in the description to the downloads page, so you don't have to go to my website and look at all this stuff. So or navigate. You can look at it, but you don't have to navigate. Save you a click anyway. So there you go. Those are the next 25. Hopefully that was really helpful for you. Like I said, I'll put the link in the description. If you want to see that other video that I did for the first 25, I'll break it down each individual one like I did in here. This is the video right here, the first 25 basic t-shirt design layout. So they're very simple. You can do this. It's even a beginner can follow this along, and hopefully, you know, having the examples really help. Thanks again for watching, and as always, guys, keep creating and keep learning. I'll see you on the next one.